Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is a closed door romance book recommendation video. For most of these books I don't have the physical copy because I either read the audiobook version, borrowed them from my library, or just bought the ebook version because it was much cheaper than the physical copy. But I will show the book cover so you know what the book looks like at least. I think let's just get into it. We'll start off strong with Picking Daisies on Sundays by Liana Cincotti, which honestly she's becoming one of my favorite authors. This is a childhood friends to lovers story with fake dating. Daniela thought she was over her childhood love and childhood best friend Levi until he comes back later on into her life and asks her to be his fake girlfriend for his sister's wedding, and she says yes because this is how these stories go, obviously. And she promised herself that she wouldn't fall for him, but she obviously starts liking him more and more. He is a professor. He teaches English at his school, so he's kind of like a hot nerd, and she's a fashion major. So it's like they're in different fields, but they respect the art, so they have conversations about that. The entire time I was reading it, I pictured him as Caleb Turner, so it's really, really nice. Next, we have Don't Be in Love by Liana Cincotti. This one is set in London, and Adelaide transfers to a very prestigious university there, and she's very career driven and she doesn't want to focus on love. She doesn't want any distractions, but Dorian comes along and it's your typical good girl bad boy vibes. And he's kind of the guy which is always on the tabloid headlines because he's like rich and everyone knows him, and he's always there for like some scandal every single time, and she wants nothing to do with that. And to top it all off, her new best friend has a crush on him, like a really big crush, so she's trying to navigate him like pursuing her but also trying to keep it a secret from her friend. It's really interesting, and he's honestly too charming. Like there were times when I was like, there's no way he just said that. There's a fine line between cringe, I will say that, but it's still a really good book. The next one is a Mariana Zapata book. I do not have the physical copy of it, but it's called The War of Winnipeg and Me. So our protagonist, I'm trying to remember her name, Vanessa, she works as an assistant to this famous football player, and she leaves because she's like, I can't do this. She's like over it. She just leaves because he's so grumpy and just so frustrating to be around. So she leaves, like she quits the job, and he comes back basically begging her, which I was like, period, begging her to come back. And it's your typical black cat and grumpy book, because I wouldn't say black cat and golden retriever or like grumpy and sunshine. I wouldn't say that. It's just black cat girl and grumpy guy. She's very practical. She's my favorite Mariana Zapata heroine, to be honest. She's very practical and she's not scared to leave situations if they don't serve her, and he grovels for her, which is amazing. I love to see books like that. Next, we have From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata as well. This one's an enemies to lovers. It follows Jasmine, who's a figure skater, but her career is kind of like hitting the wall. She's not really being successful at the moment, so her rival Ivan asks her for them to pair up, and these guys hate each other's guts, but she just has to do it because she really wants to succeed. And it's like built tension on tension and tension and just cracks. The banter between these two characters is honestly to die for. I was kicking my feet, punching the air because of how good this book is, and it's a really, really good slow burn. Mariana Zapata is the queen of slow burn, like the slowest burn. It's frustrating but so good. These two literally kiss when the book ends. That's their first kiss when the book ends. That's how slow burn it is. It's really, really good. I would definitely recommend it. I think I give it 5 stars, to be honest, and I'm thinking of rereading this book because of just how good it is. Next, we have Ling Painter book number 1, which is The Do-Over. This is kind of like Groundhog Day, but on Valentine's Day. So Emily keeps waking up on Valentine's Day over and over again, waking up to her boyfriend cheating on her, and it keeps happening time and time again. And she keeps running into this guy, Aiden, I believe. I don't know, I'm trying to remember his name, but she keeps running into him, and it's kind of like unexpected because he was the guy who she'd never speak to, even in school. Like they'd never cross paths, but he's also stuck in that same day, and they kind of like connect on that, and the romance blossoms. I will say I give this one 3 stars because of how frustrating she was to read about, but I do understand she's like in high school, so I guess trying to connect that to her character, I wish I did that, but she was very frustrating to read about. But I would say it's still a really good book. It's a really, really good book, and they connect, and he also has stuff going on in his life, and she's there for him and he's there for her. It's really, really cute. Next is Better Than the Movies. This one is so popular, but if you haven't read it because you're scared of how popular it is, this is your sign to read it. It is actually really, really good. It follows Liz, who's such a helpless romantic. She believes in these grand gestures and everything, and now that her childhood crush is back in town, Michael, she asks for help from her neighbor, who's really sarcastic. They literally hate each other's guts, Wes, to impress him, and he says yes because he's helping her, but she doesn't know that he actually likes her. And it's so funny because the banter between these two characters is honestly so amazing to read about. The connection is really amazing to read about. She's very rom-com, like 2000 rom-com coded, so I really, really love this book. I should reread it, honestly. I should reread it because it's really, really good. It kind of reminds me of the To All the Boys I've Loved Before type of thing. It's really, really good. Following that story, we have Nothing Like the Movies, following the same couple, the same characters, but in college. I will say I was not a fan of this book. I did not enjoy it at all. The only good thing I will say is that we get Wes's point of view in this book. We didn't really get it in Better Than the Movies, but we get it in Nothing Like the Movies. I will say the reason I didn't enjoy it that much is because of everything I loved about Liz in Better Than the Movies was literally flipped. Like, everything changed. She's not a helpless romantic. She's not really like into frilly clothes, and I love reading characters like that. I love reading female characters which are like super feminine, because I don't know why books think we don't need female characters like that anymore. So I didn't enjoy this, but you might enjoy it. That's why I'm still recommending it, but I didn't enjoy it. Next, we have Ali Hazelwood's Check and Met, in my opinion, her best book. This follows Mallory, who's like a retired chess protege, and she gets dragged into this chess tournament where she plays against the world champion Nolan, and she beats him, and he's like determined to play against her again. One thing I will say about this book is I like how the characters push each other to be the best versions of themselves, which I don't really see much of that in a lot of YA books. It's very focused on just like their romance, where this is romance, but it focuses on the other things that they're interested in. And Ali Hazelwood is she makes her characters very academic, I think, but like is academic threaded, but very, very smart. Like, their hobbies are smart. They're like your typical book smart type of people, and I love how she makes them push each other to be the best versions of themselves, how she puts them in the same fields. It's really, really interesting, and the romance is amazing. The banter between the characters is so funny though. They made me laugh so many times. Next, we have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This follows Iris Winnow. She works at the Author Gazette, and she's trying to keep her family afloat while her brother's fighting in the war and her mother's like lost in grief, and she's competing for a promotion there against her rival Roman Kit. And the funny thing here is her letters to her brother keep ending up to Roman because their typewriters are kind of connected in like a magical way. Honestly, it's just so cute. I think the enemies to lovers is amazing. One thing I will say is I love how much respect they have for each other's work. It isn't that thing where he looks down on her at all, but he respects her work and she respects his work, and it's just so cute to read about. Honestly, Roman Kit stole my heart, and I'm surprised I enjoyed it so much because it's also in the third person's point of view, which I tend to avoid books like that, and I'm also not the biggest fantasy reader, so it definitely surprised me. If there's anything you'll take away from me, is reading this book, because I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. The next books, I do not own a physical copy of them at all, but I will recommend them still, and it's The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I will say this book was really, really interesting to read about. Honestly, it follows Avery Graham, who she just randomly gets this inheritance from this rich guy she's never met, and the thing is, this guy likes playing games with his like grandkids, so it's like puzzles, like secret messages, decoding stuff, and she's surrounded by a bunch of people which don't even want her around. I will say I am Team Jameson, so. And my personal hot take about this book is it really, I feel like it's being dragged on. Honestly, I ended on book 3. When this series was announced, we all thought it's going to be a trilogy, and now it's like book 5 is being written, which I personally don't even understand why. I feel like it's being dragged on. If you like reading it, just continue reading it. Honestly, I stopped on book 3. I will say my favorite series from her is The Naturals, which not many people talk about, but that's my favorite one of all her series. It's The Naturals. It follows these 5 kids which have like superhuman abilities, but it's not about superheroes, but they solve cases that the FBI couldn't solve. So we have two profilers, Cassie, who's the protagonist, and Dean. We have a lie detector, Leah, and we have like a statistics computer smart girl, Sloan, and an emotion reader, Michael. This one also has a love triangle in it with Michael. Okay, more of like a love square, Michael, Leah, Dean, and Cassie. It's really, really interesting. In each book you get to know each of the characters more in the eyes of Cassie, and I will say it's basically Scooby-Doo on steroids, honestly. Next we have Sarah Adams. I don't know what the name of this series is called, but it follows siblings, and the first one is When in Rome, which follows a pop star and a baker. He's kind of like grumpy, and she's like sunshine type of vibes. Honestly, his personality and his profession are kind of like an oxymoron, because he's grumpy but he's a baker, and everyone knows he's like this grumpy baker, but he's also such a sweet, caring guy. He takes care of his sisters so much and loves them. And her car breaks down. She wants to get away from her musician pop star lifestyle, and she wants to go to Rome, but she ends up in Rome, Kentucky. Not Rome as in like Italy Rome, but Rome, Kentucky. And her car breaks down, and he offers to let her stay till it gets fixed, and that's where like the romance just goes in. Honestly, it's forced proximity. She gets to meet his siblings, she gets to live like a life outside being this pop singer, and just like lives where not many people know about her or care about her career. Next in this series is Practice Makes Perfect. It follows his little sister, and she's your typical good girl, owns a flower shop, loves reading books, and her love interest is Amelia, the girl, the pop singer's bodyguard, Will, and it's like good girl, bad boy type of vibes. And she overhears her date saying she's boring, so she asks Will to help her with dating. So he gives her dating lessons and dating tips, and they kind of fall in love from there to a typical small town romance. Honestly, I love her so much. She reminds me so much of Lara Jean, so much, because her view on romance is the same view as Lara Jean had. So it's really, really cute. Next is The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, and it follows these two childhood best friends. It's a childhood best friend to lover's story. I will say the one thing this book taught me is not talking to a man with a girl best friend, because honestly their interactions were like, why aren't they dating? It's a miscommunication trope, which I really hate those. But something about this one was just done so well. Nathan is so funny. He is honestly hilarious, like so funny. And they have to fake date, and from that moment they just start liking each other more and more. The ending was really, really cute, because I've never read of like a fictional guy who thinks that way, or even like a real guy who thinks that way. So the ending was really, really cute. Now let's go to my personal favorite, Alexandra Moody. I feel like she is such a hidden gem when it comes to authors, to the point where it's like, I think people don't even know she exists, but she's amazing. She's mastered the high school romance, enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine who secretly loves you type of thing, and I feel like her books are so amazing. Starting off with the first one is The Wrong Bachelor. So there's this like reality dating show at the school where they're like, the girls are competing to take this guy for prom. He's like this popular guy, and Maddie wants nothing to do with it. The protagonist, Maddie, wants nothing to do with it. She doesn't like the guy, but he obviously likes her. The chemistry is so funny. The banter between them is honestly to die for. I kept on eating it up. I read this book a while back, I'm not gonna lie, so most of the details are kind of foggy. All I do know is that I enjoyed every second reading it, so you should definitely read it. And my most recent reread, Rival Darling, I have read this book like 3 times since it got released. It is a hockey romance, and it follows trying to remember her name, Violet. Yeah, it follows Violet. So her boyfriend cheats on her. It's a sports romance, cheats on her, and she has this smart idea to date the captain of the rivals, her boyfriend's rival hockey team, and it's honestly to die for. These boys, the brothers, the Darling brothers, aren't known to be like the kind guys of the town, but they're really sweethearts, to be honest. They're known to be like the bad guys. That's why the series is called like Darling Devils, I guess. But she starts dating him, it's fake dating, and they end up liking each other more and more and more. She has some stuff going on with her, he has some stuff going on in the family. He's kind of like fake dating her to make her boyfriend jealous, but in his head he's like actually really dating her. In his head he's like, this is my girlfriend, but in her head she's like, it's fake. It's honestly really funny. The last book I'm going to recommend is Grumpy Darling, which follows the brother of the main guy in the other book. I really can't remember his name, and it's honestly so cliche, but hear me out. So Paige, the girl, the protagonist, the female protagonist, has one thing on her bucket list before she graduates. She wants to have a first kiss, which honestly sounds so cliche and stupid, but the only problem is her best friend, the grumpy guy. He's like scaring everyone away. It's kind of like, bro, you are scaring people, like, let me live, let me have a boyfriend. But she doesn't realize he's doing that, and she asks for help, like flirting lessons, so she can flirt with this guy she likes. And he's helping her, but he's like killing him inside. And the romance is honestly so cute. He's so cute. He's your typical, like, how can I say, he's like a grizzly bear exterior but like teddy bear interior type of guy, and it's honestly so cute. Anyway, this is where I'll end this video. I have more books if you'd really want more recommendations, but this is where I'll end the video. Thank you for watching this. Like and subscribe, and if you reached the end of this video, comment a book emoji down below. Bye. See you when you see me.